Welcome to the latest instalment in my new Bass Lick of the Week series. Before we dive into the line itself, be sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Okay, so this week's exercise is a fingerstyle funk groove, and this is 16th note bass, and it was written very much in the style of legendary bass player Jaco Pastorius. So that's really what we're thinking about when we're working through this line. So as I said, this is 16th note bass, and we're playing over a D minor sound. Now we begin with, we have an anacrusis phrase, and an anacrusis, if you haven't heard that term before, is just a short phrase that's played before the first beat of the first bar. So we're going to come in on the and of beat 4 of the count-in with a short hammer-on figure, which is just going to be this. So that's a hammer-on between the G and the A on the D string. So we're going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4. And that note that I just played there, that's C, that's the first note of the first bar. Okay. So after playing the hammer on, we're going to play that C twice, and then we're going to slide downwards to the B. And you need to have your first finger on this C, really. Slide down to the B, and then we're going to play the B again. So you're getting 4 16th notes here, but because we're playing a slide in the middle, your picking hand isn't working quite as hard as it might otherwise. We're going to come down to the A on the D string there with the 4th finger, and then we're going to play a ghost note. Okay, that's a really important figure to get under your fingers. Okay, in terms of the notes, if we think about a D minor chord, or a D minor 7 chord even, we'd have D, F, A and C. And we're obviously hitting the A there as part of our hammer-on. We've got the 7th there, the C. Back down onto the A. So we're playing some important chord tones already. Now we're going to take the figure that we've just played and we're going to move it. We're going to play the same kind of line, but move down. So now we're going to play a hammer-on between the C and the D. That gives us the 7th and the root note of the implied D minor 7 chord here. And then we play, same kind of idea, we're playing the F, play it twice, and then slide down a fret to the E, and then play the E again, back onto the D. And follow it with a ghost note. So we've got the same phrase twice, just moved. And then we're just going to finish off this first bar with a hammer-on from the G to the A, but on the low E string there. It's just finishing off the bar, but it's also setting up the line that we're going to be playing in the second bar. So from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's slow that down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's our first bar. Let's take a look at what happens in bar number 2. We're going to play this figure to begin with. And again, this is continuous 16th notes, but we're going to be using some hammer-ons. So we're going to be playing the C twice, we then hammer on to a C sharp, and we play that again. And then the second C sharp is going to hammer on to a D. And then we play the D again. So we're getting 2 Cs, 2 C sharps, and 2 Ds. But as before, the picking hand isn't working as hard as it might otherwise because we're incorporating some hammer-ons. That takes us all the way through the first beat and into the second, and then to finish the second beat off, we're going to come back down and play that hammer-on between the G and the A again. And again, any of these short phrases, they're always worth taking and just cycling around in isolation, just as I did there. Really great illustration of how you can build up speed in lines like this just by incorporating hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's the first part of the second bar. We're then going to do the same kind of thing again, all the way through. So 2 C's, 2 C sharps, onto the D, just a single D this time. This is the first 8th note that we've had in the entire line. It's been 16th notes up to this point. And then we're going to move our hand position back to that opening figure. So the hammer-on between the G and the A is the final thing that we play in this bar. And again, that's the first 2 bars. Just cycle those round slowly. Play it in free time to begin with, as always, and then just gradually build up the tempo as and when you become comfortable with what your fingers need to be doing. There's a little bit of coordination that needs to happen in between the 2 hands here, because we're using these hammer-ons in slightly unusual places sometimes, so it takes a bit of slow tempo practice. Now, in terms of the rest of the line, we're going to be very much playing parts that are derived from things that we've done already. So the 3rd bar of the line is going to be the same as the 1st. And then in the 4th and final bar of the exercise, we're going to begin in the same way. So we've got our 2 C's, 2 C sharps, 2 D's, again all played with hammer-ons. And then this time we're going to finish off the second beat with another hammer-on between the C and the D. And this is really just setting up a move onto the D string. And again, we've got the same kind of idea here. 2 F's, 2 F sharps, onto a G. And again, when we arrive on that G, that's going to remain as an 8th note. And then we've got our hammer-on phrase that's going to enable us to repeat the line. So bars 3 and 4. Really fun line to play once you get it under your fingers, and you can begin speeding it up. Really nice fingerstyle funk line. That's basically it for this exercise. As I said before, do take your time with this one. Play it very, very slowly and out of time to begin with. The hammer-ons, as I said a couple of times, are played in unusual parts of the beat in places, so it takes a little bit of coordination, again, as I've said before. Now, before we finish off, I just want to talk a little bit about tone. Because this is a fingerstyle funk groove, you want a fairly sort of nice kind of biting tone, and I've achieved that on this instrument. This is just a kind of modern take on a jazz bass, as I will have explained before. What I've done here is I've turned the neck pickup down pretty much all of the way, so I'm using mostly just the bridge pickup, and I've turned my tone control down to just beyond the halfway point, really, just to take out some of the sizzle. Just want a fairly good punchy sound, and without a 3-band EQ, that's one of the ways of achieving that on this configuration. So a fairly biting tone is the kind of thing that you want for this. And you can also play with your picking hand a bit closer to the bridge as well for a tighter sound. Put all that into the mix, and you're going to get a sound that works really nicely for lines of this nature. Okay, that's it for the bass lick of the week number 6. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for checking out the latest instalment in my bass lick of the week series. If you'd like to download the PDF worksheet and audio files for this exercise, just click on the link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to head over to basslinepublishing.com to check out my full range of bass guitar video courses. I'll see you next week for another bass groove.